Very good evening to you. Welcome to Team Talk, the show that brings you the biggest sporting news, views and incredible stories from across Kent. Plenty of great sporting action coming your way. Here's what you can expect in the next half an hour. We've entered the crucial festive period of the season. Find out who got what they wanted and who's on the naughty list following the weekend's football.
Full credit to them. They deserved their win. We were nowhere near it today.
How are the Gills faring at the halfway stage? The KM Group's Luke Cordell assesses how Steve Lovell's side are looking going into the second half of the season.
Blimey, it's been a bit of a rollercoaster, isn't it? They've fitted so much into one half of a season then. 3 managers. And can K Sports make it OK to play more? We've been to the opening of their new hockey pitch as they try to grow participation.
It's not just for youngsters. I myself took part in a back to hockey session recently to get old fuddy-duddies like me returning to sports that they once played as a kid as part of their general physical, mental well-being.
All of that to come, but first, with Christmas fast approaching and the busy December schedule now in full swing, it's often this period that can make or break a season. Will our Kent sides continue an assault on the playoffs or pull themselves away from the relegation places? Here's a look at how our teams got on during the weekend, starting at York Road. With 3 defeats and 12 goals conceded in their last 3 games, it wasn't feeling like the season to be jolly for Maidstone. They were hoping to restore some festive cheer at Maidenhead with just 3 points between the two sides. A Joe Pigott free kick pioneered their last victory at Torquay, and he almost repeated the trick 10 minutes before the break. The hosts twice came close to an early Christmas present soon after though. Harry Pritchard with the effort on both occasions, but what about this lovely deft touch from the steward? Last week, MK Dons broke Jay Saunders' heart, so in the very next game would they give more goals away? This week, to save them from tears, Lee Worgan produced something special. Once bitten and twice shy, minutes later Joe Anderson kept his distance and hit this volley just fine. With time running out, Stones thought in Joe Pigott they had someone to rely on, but this miss meant Jay Saunders needed a shoulder to cry on. A face with determination, he had fire in his heart, but when Stuart Lewis was booked for diving, it tore Stone's chances apart. A goalless draw means Maidstone dropped to 11th in the table. It was 3 clean sheets out of 3 for Kent's National League sides. Both Dover and Ebbsfleet produced sensational performances to win 4-0. The Whites are up to 4th, with Fleet now 10th. In the National League South, all Dartford want for Christmas is to remain top of the table. Hungerford didn't want a lot for Christmas. In fact, they only wanted one thing, and that was a penalty for this trip on Tom Meachin. Louis Soares wanted the penalty for his own, and Julie tucked away the spot kick. Alfie Pavey almost made the Darts wish come true as they went in search of an equaliser, but the top scorer saw his header come back off the post. In the Bostik Premier Division, Tunbridge Angels travelled to Worthing, and the referee appeared to be the Grinch that stole Angels the chance to get a penalty in the early stages when Nathan Elder was brought down. The big frontman was involved again later on in the first half. Goalkeeper Lucas Kovalan completely wiped him out, but the referee only offered a yellow card. I doubt Elder will now be offering him a Christmas card. 2 minutes into the second half and a Jack Parter foul gave the hosts a penalty. Angels stopper Johnny Henley produced an impressive save to keep the game level. Incredibly, with 25 minutes to play, Worthing were given another gift courtesy of another penalty. This time Henley was sent the wrong way by Kieran Pamment. A minute later, and with Tunbridge still suffering from the penalty injustice, Jimmy Wild was left unmarked in the centre. He tucked the ball home to send the home fans, well, wild. The hosts held on to win and pick up all 3. The Angels are now 10th and a long way from the top of the Bostik Premier tree.
They beat us with 2 balls over the top. But 1 we didn't deal with, and 2, the second one was we was too deep. The line weren't right. Saying that, in the first 5 minutes, Dan Bennett's put a great ball in the 6-yard box. We haven't attacked it. About both boxes, and we weren't good enough in either today.
Elsewhere, Folkestone's form has reversed following an unbeaten November. They were beaten by Harrow, whilst Margate are now 8 unbeaten in the league after a win over Hendon. In the Bostik South, another strike from 18-year-old Luke Griffiths gave Faversham the lead against big-budgeted Greenwich Borough. The visitors levelled courtesy of Chinedu Mackenzie on the half-hour mark. Town's longest-serving player Matt Bourne put them back in front in the second period. But they couldn't hold on as Jack Samutis nicked the away side a point. Elsewhere in the south, Ramsgate drew at Chipstead, whilst Hythe, Herne Bay and Ashford were all heavily beaten. At Woodstock Park, a frozen goalmouth prevented Sittingbourne against Guernsey from going ahead. Finally, in League One, a Christmas cracker from Tommy's wasn't enough for Gillingham, as Tamani Diagaraga was the Scrooge for Steve Lovell as his late winner for Plymouth downed Gills. And to chat more about that defeat for the Gills, plus a look at how the season's gone so far, including his performance of the season, player of the campaign, and the dreaded debate of whether Gills will avoid the drop. Earlier on today, I caught up with the KM Group's Gillingham correspondent, Luke Caudle. So, look, a disappointing result for Gillingham at the weekend, but Steve Lovell said he felt his side might have even won it, let alone drawn it. What was your assessment of the game? Yeah,
they certainly had a good go at it second half. They certainly could have won it. They were unlucky not to have got a goal in the first sort of 15 minutes when one looked like it had crossed the line but wasn't given. They got back in it, got back level 1-1, and they'd done so well going up to that equalising goal as well. They'd been really putting the pressure on, deserved the equaliser. And then, lo and behold, they go and concede another goal right at the death.
Frustrating. We've reached the halfway mark almost in the season. How would you assess Gills' first half of the campaign?
Blimey, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? They've fitted so much into one half of a season. 3 managers. It's getting better, which I suppose is the positive thing. That they're not losing as many. The performances look better. The players are certainly eager and keen and committed. Which suggests they should escape, relegation issues. But you never know. I mean, Bury, I think, are bottom at the minute. They've got quite a lot of resources. You never know what they'll do in January. So it's going to be a fight, I think, right to the end. Hopefully they'll do the business and survive. But the first half of the season's definitely been tough, but getting better.
You spoke about the performances. You had to pick one. What do you think has been their best one so far?
Hard to pick one. They're probably the toss-up between two away games, Peterborough and Rotherham. I think when Steve Lovell first took over, no one gave them much chance of getting anything from either game. They won them both, looked really good. If they could just play that kind of fluid football, attacking football, more consistently, then they'll really give a lot of teams a run for the money.
Who's player of the season for you at the halfway stage?
Another tough one, really. I'd say the first month or so you'd struggle to pick anyone. I think some players are starting to come to the fore now. Gabriel Zakwani at the back is impressing. As ever, Mark Byrne in the middle has been a constant. Tom Eaves is looking at right handful up front. But the goalkeeper, I think, for me at the minute, Thomas Holy, he's got him out of trouble a fair few times. And after a shaky start of the season, he's looking really good.
And just quickly, Luke, a final prediction, where are Gills going to finish at the end of the campaign?
I think 20th would do right now.
OK, well, Luke, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
The KM Group's Luke Caudle there, chatting to me earlier on today. We'll be talking hockey, golf and participation in sport across Kent after the break. But just before we reach half-time, let's round up our football for this week with the contenders for November's Goal of the Month. Joe Piggott's been one of the stars for Maidstone this season. A week after scoring as the Stones defeated Cheltenham in the FA Cup, he produced this.
Curls one! It's a goal! What a goal! Superb goal! Inside the near post. It's Torquay United 0, Maidstone United 1.
Goal B is from Faversham's Dan Carrington, who showed shades of Dele Alli's famous goal against Crystal Palace with this neat flick and finish against South Park. Our third goal comes from the big man Nathan Elder, who crashed home the opening goal for Tunbridge Angels during defeat at Staines Town. Lyle Delaverde's quick feet earns him a place on our list. His nimble work and slick finish gave Dartford their third goal during a 4-1 win over Gloucester. Some cracking goals in the month of November then. And to vote for your goal of the month, head over to our Twitter page later on this evening at @KM_Team Talk, where you can select your favourite goal. The poll will run up until next week's show, when we'll reveal who's been crowned the goal of the month winner. Still to come, Josie tackling swing logistics in her latest golfing lesson, and we'll be joined by K Sports CEO Alan Dennington. Here's why. Can K Sports revive hockey in Kent? Sports Minister Tracey Crouch believes the sport is dying out in schools, so can the club turn it around?
The junior part is our next big growth. That's our next big focus area. Having this wonderful facility now gives us that opportunity.
And in this week's Team Talk teaser, we're asking which 3 Kent-based hockey players featured for England at the World Hockey League. We'll have the answer in a few moments' time. Welcome back to the second half of Team Talk. Before the break, we asked you which 3 Kent-based hockey players featured for England during the World Hockey League finals. The answer was Barry Middleton, David Ames and George Pinner, all of whom play for Holcombe. We're asking that because K Sports Club in Ditton has unveiled its brand new hockey pitch. K Sports Hockey Club, formerly known as Cobdown, are hoping the fresh facility will give a boost for their team, as well as improving participation in Kent.
3, 2, 1.
Sports Minister Tracey Crouch cut the rope, marking the official opening of the K Sports hockey pitch. It'll now be the new home for the K Sports hockey team, previously known as Cobdown. The change of name and venue is already reaping its rewards.
We've gone from 2 men's sides and 2 ladies' sides. Immediately this season we're already up to 3 men's sides and the verge again of another 3rd ladies' side. So the growth factor just from the initial pitch construction and the partnership has been huge.
Much like any sports club, the key to success and sustainability is improving participation at grassroots level.
The junior part is our next big growth. That's our next big focus area. Having this wonderful facility now gives us that opportunity. We've got a wealth of schools around us. As you can see, some of these guys here out enjoying it today. So, you know, that's our real next big area and getting kids and the community playing hockey.
That's music to the ears of the Chatham and Aylesford MP, who's concerned about a decrease in youngsters playing hockey.
I certainly think that hockey has declined as a sport that's being played at school, and certainly when I was at school, you know, hockey was the only sport that we played in the winter along with netball, and I think that actually by getting people to come along to local facilities like this, perhaps it will encourage new growth in hockey.
And hockey isn't the only sport that's in need of growth.
A lot of the snooker clubs have closed down. Snooker halls used to be packed with the youngsters, you know, interested in playing snooker, so yeah, hopefully if K Sports can get that snooker room up and running, then can generate some interest for the youngsters around here and try and give snooker a little bit of a boost and get some young UK contenders coming through.
Whilst engaging school children is essential for the future, Tracey's main goal is simply to see more people of any age up and active.
You've got clubs like K Sports and you've got others around the county who are trying to engage with the local community in many different ways. And it's not just for youngsters. I myself took part in a back to hockey session recently. So you get old fuddy-duddies like me returning to sports that they once played as a kid as part of their general physical, mental well-being.
Holcombe's Barry Middleton recently clocked up his 400th international appearance, and with the backing of K Sports, perhaps one of these hockey hopefuls can be the next from Kent to conquer the international stage. Keilan Webster, KMTV. And joining me in the studio to discuss more about the club and how it aims to help increase sports participation for younger children across Kent is K Sports CEO Alan Dennington. Alan, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Firstly, we'll talk about the hockey pitch that was unveiled on Friday. Tell us the story behind that and how that's going to help K Sports.
Well, I think that any sport that young people can play, that can engage with, is beneficial. Cobdown have had a hockey club for many, many years, but unfortunately when pitches changed and requirements changed years ago, they had to move away from Cobdown. When we took it over a few years ago, we were asked, could we bring hockey back to Cobdown? And the answer was yes. There's some really decent people behind the hockey club looking to engage young people, not just in the activity, but also in education programs, health-related programs. So, good thing all round. I
got the impression on Friday that the club were delighted that they were back playing hockey in Cobdown. How important is that?
I think very important. I mean, it's been on the go now, or been in the news for maybe a year and a half, and there's various hiccups around planning and other bits, which has made it even more exciting, I think, for the hockey team there now. They're all good and they're all excited about that, as are we.
And for some people that might have heard about K Sports, maybe have been to the facility, give us an idea about where the idea for K Sports came from in the first place.
Well, we've all known Cobdown for many years, and we've sort of seen it not necessarily being developed in the best way. So a good colleague of mine, a guy called Rod Clark, decided to invest some money into it to turn it into, again, the premier sporting facility in Kent. But looking at not just playing sport around health, education, employment and skills, working with perhaps young people who've been where mainstream education doesn't work for them. So just using the facility for the good of the community.
And how will you do that with the young people and the education side of things?
We'll be working with some education providers to deliver BTECs, to deliver apprenticeships, and also deliver some curriculum time activities. So right across the board on that.
And what sort of facilities do you have at K Sports? What are you looking to build on?
Well, the hockey pitch is the latest unveiling. Last year we opened the Stadia 3G, where K Sports first team play. They're top of the Scaffold League at the moment, and hopefully will be appearing on one of your broadcasts or one of your reports soon, because they're pushing up the league. But behind those guys, there's 25 other teams ranging from under 6s right the way through, where we're working with the Kent League and with the local leagues to give them opportunities to play. A new gym is being opened on the 3rd of Jan. It's again been a few months in the making now. Looking forward to unveiling that. You saw Barry Hawkins in the clip just now. Barry's going to base his training program from K Sports. So right across the board, we're looking at various sports.
And one of the things that we heard from Barry and also Tracey Crouch in the piece was about trying to get more people involved in their sports for all ages. How do you go about engaging, firstly, young people to get involved in more sports?
I think a safe facility is the most important thing. Safe facility, good coaching, something that is a little bit special, attracts the kids, attracts the parents. Bring the parents along, make them understand that their young people are going to feel safe is very, very good. That's important. That should then follow through their development and hopefully interest in other sports, whilst their parents are also perhaps joining in activities. And then go past that, if we look at walking football, walking netball, walking hockey, we can go to the other end of the generational scale.
And how affordable is this going to be for parents if they do want to get involved, whether it's themselves or the children?
We make it as cheap as we possibly can. It's not a profit-making situation. We look to provide facilities, provide opportunities, and so it's accessible to all. And that's part of the arrangement we came to with Tunbridge and Malling Council.
Well, Alan, we'll hold it there for the moment. We'll talk more in a few moments. But let's turn our attention to golf now. And it's time to check in on our reporter Josie Hannett's latest lesson with 4 women. This week, the ladies were learning about how to improve their swing and, crucially, the direction the ball's going.
So last week we learnt a bit more about the general knowledge and rules of golf, and a few weeks ago, Max, I asked you about how to get my aim and my swing better. Is that something we could do today?
Yeah, I can cover that. Technically it's very complicated, but what I do with beginners is give them a general idea. So it's important to get them at least attempting to aim in the right direction. So we keep it simple, but give you a general idea that you're aiming at a particular target. I will point you in the right direction and say, you are aiming at that white post. Yeah, and when you hit through to your target.
Yeah.
Too technical to go further, but at least you've got the idea, you're standing, aiming correctly, and you're going to hit it, and you know, at least your brain knows where you're going.
walking through the door, you know, we know that you're nervous, we know that you haven't played golf before, may not have played golf before, and visit the website first, get a feeling for what For Women is all about, drop us a line, drop us an email, contact us through social media.
One of my main aims today has been to hit the white post. Now, not all of the balls have gone where I've wanted them to go, and what I have learnt today is that this sport really does take some progression. I thought within a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I'd be starting to get to grips with it, but that hasn't happened. Now, I'm hoping that I do continue to improve in the next few weeks. And remember that if you want to get involved, you can visit forwomen.co.uk.
Time almost up here on Team Talk. Alan is still alongside me. Alan, just before we go, we saw about young women trying to get more involved in sport is the real aim of For Women, and that is similar to what we're trying to see at K Sports. So you were just speaking to me then. The whole idea is maybe in the future to make it into like a college sort of thing. I think that's right. We're looking to put a really high quality education programme there that focuses on not just those who are perhaps academic, but those who want to do apprenticeships or want to do BTECs, full-time education programmes that take them into a world of sport should they wish to go that way. You're quite right in what you're saying about women in sport, and we've K Sports got their first ladies team there this year. The plans are to develop a really healthy, thriving ladies section. That's important to us. And just staying with those similar lines, when you're talking about the college element of that, how much is the balance going to be with the educational side of things and still pursuing that sporting goal? Well, I think that the education programmes will feed into our teams. Hopefully some of the young people may go further than that. We've got some good relationships with Maidstone. Darren Hare, who's Mason's first team coach, he also heads up one of our academy programmes. So there's a good pedigree behind that, him and Andy Hesson-Taylor. So good pedigree behind that. But the idea is just to give the young people a decent grounding and an option, and that's the important thing. New facilities that are going to be there include a sports hall, they include new changing blocks. So it's 3 or 4 years of hard work to go, but we think the youngsters are going to benefit from it. And just finally, where can people go if they want to find out more information about trying to get on these educational schemes? Just go to our website, which is www.ksports.co.uk. So look at it, lots of information there for them. Well, Alan, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be following K Sports and the ventures in the near future. But thanks very much for joining us. That is it from us for this evening. KMTV.co.uk is the place to go if you've missed any of today's programme. And Kent Tonight throughout the week is the place to be for all your Kent sporting news throughout the week. We'll see you again next Monday. Have yourselves a lovely week. Good night.